All right. Trig test, Unit 1, page 2. Write each of the following trig functions in terms of their co-functions. All right, let's just kind of review what a co-function was. So if you look at sine, the co-function of sine is cosine. So the sine of theta is equal to the cosine of 90 minus theta, right? So the sine of 10 is equal to the cosine of 80. The tangent of theta is equal to the cotangent of 90 minus theta, right? So if we have the tangent of 30, then the cotangent of 60. Those are going to be equal. And let's see, the last one was the reciprocals. What do we have here? We have the cosecant. The cosecant of theta is equal to the secant of 90 minus theta. All right, so if the cosecant is 20, then the secant is 70. Those are going to be equal. So let's not overcomplicate these things. The tangent of 68 is equal to the cotangent. We just have to think what's going to get us to 90, right? So 90 minus 68, what is that going to be? I think it's 22, right? So the cotangent of 22. The cosecant, we said, goes with the secant. So we know this one is going to be the secant, all right? So 90 minus 11.2, what is that going to be? I think it's, how about 78.8? 78.8, I think that's right. They should add up to 90. If they're not, then my mental math is off, but hopefully I got that one right. All right, and last one here is sine. Sine goes with the cosine. So we just have to think 90 minus 105 is going to be negative 15. It's okay that it's a negative number. All right, so if you don't believe me, or you don't believe yourself, which you should always believe in yourself, just punch it into your calculator. Make sure your mode is in degree, right? You should always make sure you're in degree mode. So we have been working exclusively with degrees. That's going to change eventually. All right, so we have the sine of 105. It's just some decimal. I don't know what that is. All right, it's 0.965, whatever. All right, let's double check it with the cosine. The cosine of negative 15. Hopefully it's the same decimal. And look at that, it is, right? So there is something to this whole math stuff. Right? Let's try it again. Cosine matches up with the sine. So I already know it's going to be the sine of something. This one's slightly different. It's not a number now, it's an expression. So still same rules apply. 90 minus whatever's on the inside of those parentheses. So we have 43 minus x. Right? And then make sure you put it in parentheses. I almost forgot there because that negative sign does need to be distributed. So this turns into 90 minus 43 plus x. Hang on. Let me. All right. Hopefully that pause worked. So we're going to see what happens. 90 minus 43 is going to give us 47. All right. So this is 47. 47 plus x. All right. So 47 plus x. And then the last one is the cotangent. Just like before, cotangent goes with the tangent. All right. So we're going to say 90 minus all of this stuff, 3x plus 14. Right, distribute the negative sign. 90 minus 3x minus 14. 90 minus 14 is going to give us 76 minus 3x. All right, so the tangent of 76 minus 3x. All right, that should be equal to the cotangent of 3x plus 14. All right, if you don't believe me or if you want to double check, pick any number for x. Pick a 2, a 10, whatever. Plug it in and then match them up. All right, so 17 and 18 very similar to the 4 that we just did, or the 6. I think there's 5, whatever. Very similar, right? We're just solving an equation for x now, right? So we have the cosine and we have the sine. We need to figure out what value of x will make this true. All right, so since they are co-functions, take those insides. You cannot set the insides equal to each other. We do have to do a little bit of prep work. All right, we have to do that 90 minus. All right, 90 minus the other one. I'm going to do x plus 15. Now, it doesn't matter if you put the 90 minus on the left side or on the right side. Just one of them, not both. All right, I tend to just put it on the right side. I don't know why, but that's just what I do. All right. So if you want to try it on the left to see if you get the same answer, you probably will. So we got 90 minus x minus 15. We got x plus 5 equals, how about 90 minus 15? What does that give us? I think that's 75. It's 75 minus x. I'm going to add an x to both sides. I'm going to subtract a 5. We have 2x. 2x equals 80. Thus, x equals 40. Okay. So you know what? Why don't we double check this? Let's see if I know what I'm talking about here. So the cosine of x plus 5, that gives us the cosine of 45. Right? Cosine of 45 is some decimal, 0.707. Right? Now let's try with the other one, the sine of 40 plus 15. Did I mess up? Guys, I made a mistake. Yikes. All right. That's embarrassing. All right, whatever. Let's try this. I'm going to add the x to both sides. I'm going to get a 2x. I'm going to subtract the 5 from both sides, and I'm going to have a 70. And then I'm going to get x equals 35. I can just go in and delete that if I really want to. Let's try that again. All right. Cosine of x plus 5. That gives me the cosine of 40. Right. 5 plus 35 is 40. Some decimal. Right. Let's do it with the sine now. The sine of 35 plus 15 gives me the sine of 50. It's the same decimal. All right. There we go. That was almost bad. Almost bad. All right, the next one, x squared equals, again, these are cofunctions, so we have to do the 90 minus thing. 90 minus 9x. You have an x squared, you have an x term, you have a number to remove everything to one side. So you have x squared, x squared, you're going to add the 9x over. You're going to subtract the 90. That equals 0. So now we're going to have to factor this one. What will this factor into? I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet. We have an x. We have an x. We need factors of 90. We're going to add up to a positive 9. I'm going to try 5 first. I get a good feeling about it. It's going to be an 18, and that's wrong. All right. So how about 90 divided by, let's say I can divide it by 2. That's not going to help. 90, I can divide it by 3. I can divide it by a 6. Maybe that's what I want. 15, there we go. All right, so we're going to say x plus 15 and x minus 6. All right, so jumping ahead, skipping a step, we have x equals negative 15 and x equals positive 6. All right, and those are the two answers. You could plug both of those in, and you'll see that they will work. All right, let's see, a couple more. These don't overcomplicate them. I'm going to start with the bottom row. Type them directly into your calculator. The sine of 19.4. 19.4 is 0.3321. They want us in the nearest hundredth. That's 2 decimals, so 0.33. 0.33. The cosine of 114. That's negative 0.41. Right, and then the tangent of negative 71. -2.9. Negative 2.90, actually. All right. Now the top ones, these are, there's no button for the secant on your calculator. We just have to remember that the secant of 16 is the reciprocal. All right, so it's going to be 1 divided by the cosine of 16. That's what you're going to type into your calculator. right? 1 divided by the cosine of 16, that gives you 1.04. All right, the next one is 1 over the sine of 37, and then the last one is 1 over the tangent of negative 22.5. I trust you guys can type those into your calculator. I'll leave that part to you for the sake of time. I got 3 more on this page, and I'm going to end this video. They want us to find the exact value, no decimals on this one. They want the sine of a 60-degree angle. Now, I don't care where you put the 60. That triangle's a little small. I'm going to make it bigger. All right, I'm going to put the 60 right here. That means that's going to be a 30. This is going to be a 90-degree angle. Let's make that unit triangle we talked about in class. The unit triangle, the shortest side has a length of 1. All right. This side is a 2, and then the square root of 3. This is your 30, 60, 90 stuff that we talked about. They want the sine of 60 degrees. That is going to be your opposite divided by your hypotenuse, right? That's the fraction, that's the relationship with the sine here. So the sine of 60 degrees is the square root of 3 over 2. Right? The next one, they want the secant of 45. So I'm going to make a 45, 45, 90 triangle. It's going to be a unit triangle. So side length of 1, side length of 1, side length of square root of 2. Now, secant, I can never remember what goes with the secant, but I know secant goes with the cosine, and the cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. All right, so that means the secant is the reciprocal of that. All right, so when we flip those upside down, that gives us the secant. All right, so they're looking for the hypotenuse over the adjacent. So that gives us the square root of 2 over 1. And the very last one is the tangent of 30 degrees, another 30, 60, 90 triangle. Look for that tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, so that's going to be 1 over the square root of 3. All right, but we don't like that answer. That's not fully rationalized and reduced. All right, so multiply top and bottom by that radical 3. You get root 3 on top, and then a regular normal 3 on the bottom. All right, and that one is done, and page 2 is done. So we'll see you guys in the next one.